they're not on my list. Okay, thank you.
All right, I'm here ready to go. No opening comments. Someone just let you fire away.
Steve, you told us in OTAs that you were kind of more or less racing the clock to get everything put together with all the new guys before the regular season starts. I know you still have some time left, but how are you feeling about that race now?
No, pretty good. I mean, early on, I know we talked a lot about this in terms of the volume of scheme and all that. It's been cut way back, in these preseason games. And everybody does that, right? Everybody kind of gets vanilla. But we'll just add a little bit here and there when we start headwaying toward Arizona, and just be careful with how much we add on.
Your teams have tended, since you've been here at least, to be better late in the season defensively than early in the season. The Super Bowl year, you could certainly say that.
Yeah.
Last year, you could say that.
Yeah.
Why? I know that's not really your intention, but why do you feel like that's been the case?
There's probably a lot of reasons for it. Certainly that first year, it was all new to everybody, right? There wasn't some of the coaches we had obviously knew the packages because I had been with them, but certainly all of the players were new. Last year, I don't know, we kind of got off to, I'm not so sure we played good enough football early. Obviously we didn't, right? And then we finally, we found a way to find our stride somewhere in the middle, and we got back to who we were and what we do. So maybe they're two different kind of years, but I do think there is an element of, I think I've said this before, I think you spend, or at least I do, you spend the first quarter of the season, so 4 games. Not exactly a quarter anymore, is it? But figuring out what you have, who you are, and what you're going to do. Because you can't always get it all figured out going against one type of offense. And this is a unique offense that we go through from, the OTAs and right in through training camp. And then we see some different things along the way, and you got some figuring out to do. We got new guys that we're not really sure where their strengths and weaknesses are, and we're always trying to figure that out.
And who fits into that category?
Probably only anybody that's new, I would say. I mean, Juan's been here for a while, so we have a pretty good feel for him. But there's a lot of new faces. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good list.
With those new faces, it's about coming together, right? I know Trent McDuffie talked post game about, you're emphasizing the coming together part of it. How much do you emphasize that?
All the time. I mean, we call it a defensive unit because it needs to be unified. We can't be going in different directions. And all defensive football, in my opinion, all the good teams function really well as a unit. You can't have just 2 really good players on one side of the ball and expect it to work, especially defensively, in my opinion.
Rashad Fenton is down again. Fair to say that Joshua Williams might be the next man
Well,
up?
Josh and Jalen, both. I'm sorry?
How confident are you in those players?
Yeah, listen, there's going to have to be somebody that's going to step. We're going to have dings and bumps and bruises along the way, and guys are going to have to step up. We may move some things around depending on how the injuries fall, but with Rashad, that was sad because he missed all, so you get a little nick, but we're going to be careful with it and hopefully get him back soon. But right now, I think Jalen and Joshua would take the bulk of his reps.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of the new faces, and I'm sure like after the draft and even with like some of the signings, you have some expectations for them. Through OTAs, training camp, 2 preseason games, how much have they exceeded your expectations as you head into this final drive for the regular season?
You asked me the expectation question a lot, and I think there's an assumption that I have certain expectations. We're hopeful in certain areas, when we get a certain guy, and we get a guy, but I'm always starting from ground zero, and building from there, and trying to get them from point A to point B. And some of those guys are getting there quicker than others, but that part of it's never going to stop. You're more hopeful when you get new guys, in my opinion, because in some regards you never really know what you're getting. I mean, throughout the history of the NFL, there's been a bunch of first-round picks that everybody thought was going to, and it doesn't happen, right? So you can't predict it. That's why I kind of stay away from that and basically just try to build.
Do you put a timetable on that, getting from point A to point B?
Well, it depends on what situation we're in. I mean, look, if we were sitting here with 11 starters that had played 3 straight years, then a guy behind them, the timetable isn't nearly as quick. When you don't have that, guys got to speed it up a little bit quicker. But it's probably dictated by what we have.
People always say, Spags doesn't want to play rookies, doesn't like rookies, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but
the question is,
yeah.
you have to. You got a lot of rookies
Yeah.
to choose from.
And
now,
Here's
so-
my thing, with anybody and anything. Take the rookie off of it. I believe you have to earn anything you get. That's just me. Whether that's rookies, whether that's a new guy coming in, whether it's a new coach, you know, you got to earn. That's what this league's all about. You earn what you get. But this year might be a little bit different, right? I mean, we're gonna put somebody out there, right?
How
So,
long does it take to earn it? I mean, sometimes quicker than others.
yeah, I mean, I don't.
Circumstance, right?
Yeah, you could earn it in a week because you just dominated for a week, you know. But this business, you got to earn. I don't think. Listen, in any mentoring situation, I think you should. This is just me. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I mean, things should be earned.
How set in stone do you think the 53-man is? Do you have a pretty good
I'm
idea?
sorry?
How set in stone do you think the 53-man is? Do you have a
You know,
pretty good idea, or?
well, probably a better question for Brett and Coach Reed, but in our case on defensively, I think there's still some battles going on. Yeah, listen, that's a good thing, right? If you have them. I guess if it was set in stone, maybe that wouldn't be good because it would be too clear cut. I guess it'd depend on how good the ones were that, right? I mean, it's all relative, but there are some that are probably well defined, but I think there are still some
What
good
about
battles.
Colin Saunders? He's had some bright moments. He's
Yeah.
also had some times where struggled
Yeah.
against a double team or had the penalty, things like that.
Yeah, that whole group in there is in a pretty good battle. All of those tackles in there, but they've all kind of shown signs of playing pretty good football, which is good for us.
So what do you
Thanks,
look for
everyone.
to differentiate that?
It just depends on the position, you know.
I mean, for the D-tackle position.
Yeah, production in there. I mean, I'm big on block destruction, you know, tearing off blocks, you know, going back to all the basics and guys that are producing. And I think all those guys have done a little bit of that. I do, yeah. We good?
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate it.